Hello, I'm Tommy Bullen, lead designer and artist at the Old Mill Pigeon River Pottery. I'd like to walk you through some of the traditional steps that we use to make our pottery here in the studio. We start with the making of the unique to us recipe for clay. That was developed decades ago on site for our specific way of firing. In earlier years, the same recipe was mixed at this site by a horse-powered mixer. Our primary method of creating pots is wheel throwing, which is demonstrated in our store throughout the year. Some of the current artists here at Pigeon River Pottery were influenced and trained by the original potters that helped start the pottery in the mid-1900s. Many of the works of art you'll find in our store, including vases, bowls, plates, and many more, were formed with this traditional method. After the throwing process is over, some of our pieces get a little extra treatment. We carve trees, mountains, dogwoods, faces, and many other things influenced by the beautiful surroundings here in the Smoky Mountains. Some of the biggest eye catchers in the store are our one-of-a-kind fusion glass platters. We start with a high grog sculpture clay body and roll it out to a desired thickness. Each one is hand sculpted in a drape mold and allowed to dry up to 2 weeks. After sanding, signing, and bisque firing, they are finished off with a crushed up glass we recycle from our very own farmhouse kitchen. Our famous black bears you'll find in our store start with a freehand sketch to see how the piece will work throughout the process. The mold is made directly off the sculpture, then poured with liquid clay and allowed to dry to a desired thickness and then poured out. Each piece is dried, hand sanded, signed, and then cleaned. After a bisque firing, the pieces are dusted off and carefully hand painted with the glazes we have specifically designed for our unique to us firing. Each piece of pottery has its own particular way it has to be treated. This is the most important step in the creation of all of our pottery. Next, each glazed piece is loaded onto our hand-built kilns. We have 4 gas-firing updraft kilns that fire in a reduction atmosphere to create our one-of-a-kind finishes. These large kilns were built on site by the original potter and have seen many decades of use. Every morning we unload, sand, and critique each piece that comes off the kiln load. All loads are different due to the infinite amount of variables that go with the digging of materials up from the earth and turning them into beautiful, functional works of art.